All right, peace, y'all. B1, it's Liberation Minded Media Production. Let's get right to it. This has been on my mind. This has been on my heart for like, I don't know, maybe a month or so now. I've been wanting to do a video about propaganda, just kind of breaking it down and letting people know, like, basically the power of propaganda. And I know that because, like, we're woke, we know everything, we're aware, we study. A lot of people would be under the impression that because of these things, because you're woke, because you know what propaganda is, that really actually protects you or makes propaganda ineffective towards you. But I'm gonna break down a few different reasons why that's not true. As long as you're exposed to propaganda will have an effect on you, period. There's no getting around that, and I'm gonna prove that in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and get a couple definitions of propaganda. All right, so this is from the Webster Dictionary. Capitalized, a congregation of the Roman Curia having jurisdiction over missionary territories and related institutions. Not really relevant in what we're going to speak about, but it's interesting that they do mention missionary territories and institutions, and because as we know, one of the biggest pieces of propaganda was handed to us indirectly from Romans. Buzzy, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even gonna go there because I don't want to offend anybody. Okay, so here we go. Definition number 2: the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Once again, the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Number 3, ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause or to damage an opposing cause. Okay, so that's a definition of propaganda. Now we'll go to now. Typically, I don't use Wikipedia as a source because Wikipedia can be edited, and any institution of learning will not allow you to use Wikipedia as a source. But we'll go ahead and use it in this case just to add a little bit more. Hold up, not what I was trying to do right there. All right, so here we go. Propaganda is communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience to further an agenda, which may not be objective and may be selectively presenting facts to encourage a particular census or perception, or using loaded language to produce an emotional rather than a rational response to the information that is being presented. Propaganda can be found in news and journalism, government, advertising, entertainment, education, and activism, and is often associated with material which is prepared by governments as part of war efforts, political campaigns, health campaigns, revolutionaries, big businesses, ultra-religious organizations, the media, and certain individuals such as soapboxers. So, in other words, propaganda is intended to sway an idea. It could be good, could be bad, but that's what propaganda is, right? Now, why does propaganda work? Because like I said, it doesn't really even matter if you're aware that you're being presented propaganda. Why does it work? It works because in many cases, it targets the subconscious, your subconscious mind. That's why it's effective. So if you're repeatedly getting certain messages, certain buzzwords, certain ideas, certain narratives, certain associations, pictures with certain phrases, repeatedly, it's going to affect you. And I'm gonna give you a couple examples. Because remember, we're dealing with the subconscious mind, which really runs you. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful. Your conscious mind, what you're aware of, what you do every day, it's powered by the subconscious mind. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. First example, dreams, right? You ever had a dream that felt so real? You're falling from a building. You wake up right before you hit the ground, and you're just, you were scared while you were falling. in that moment, in that dream. The dream's not real, but the emotion was. Fellas, you ever been woke up in the middle of the night because your lady had a dream that you were cheating and she's dead ass pissed at you, hitting you, accusing you, like absolutely, actually mad at you? You ever had different emotions while you're dreaming and it seems real to you? Why? It's just a dream. It's not real. But your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction. Here's another example. I'm gonna give you two examples. One's gonna lead into the other. The first example, or this example, is gonna deal with the movies. So before our time, and I'm sure possibly even during our time, when they showed movies, there'd be like you show one movie, then an intermission, then a second movie. And movies are showed by reels, meaning that there's a reel, right, that's showing picture frames. That's why they call it motion pictures. It's pictures. Like if you ever drew a cartoon, you draw a cartoon like a stick figure, and you want to show it walking, you show slowly progressing, then you flip it, then you have a motion picture, right? So typically, especially back in the days, I'm sure now it's even more, but there were 60 frames per second, meaning 60 pictures would flash per second, causing those pictures to cause motion picture. So 60 frames per second, one of those frames would be drink Coke or enjoy popcorn. It would just be one frame per 60 seconds. So visually, your eyes, your conscious mind did not see that. You couldn't actually distinguish that every 60 frames there was one picture of a Coca-Cola, a nice ice cold glass of Coke. But your subconscious mind picked it up. So now after watching that for a couple hours, intermission comes, everybody's rushing to the concession stand because they just seen for hours, every second, a Coca-Cola advertisement in their face. Subconsciously they seen it. Consciously they didn't see it. So subconsciously now they want to drink that Coke, eat that popcorn. Now I don't know if they still do this, but it's a fact that at one point they did. Subconscious runs your activities more than your consciousness does. Now let's stay with the theme of movies, right? Now we've all been to the movies. We know when we go to the movie that it's a movie, it's fiction. We know that actor is not really killing people or is not really dying, or whoever is in the movie, they're not really going through what they're going through. But you still get involved in the movie. You still get sad for the characters. You still feel the pain of the characters. You still feel grossed out when you see gruesome deeds being done to a character because it's very violent or something. People getting shot, stabbed, sliced up. Now you know it's fake. You know those are just like dolls that they just made for the movie. It's not really a person getting his arm hacked off. It wasn't really Ricky and Boys to the Hood getting shot by the shotgun and all the guts and stuff. That didn't really happen. But you still may feel a emotional reaction. You may feel anger, joy, sadness. Some people even cry at movies. It's not because they're weak. It's not because they're ultra sensitive. It's because your subconscious doesn't know fiction from fact. It's all real. It all triggers emotions. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. That's why in dreams, that's your subconscious mind running dreams. You feel the same emotions. So when there's certain propaganda that's continuously pushed to people, it's going to affect you if you're exposed to it. The only way not to have any influence by propaganda is to not expose yourself to it. Meaning that you're not watching the TV as much. Social media is big time for propaganda. We propaganda ourselves. We see different ads. Algorithms are selecting the ads that's gonna fit us best. We see propaganda on the news all the time. They associate certain things like our culture with criminal activities. When they show when they show criminal activities, they show hoodies. They show certain attire that me and you know that just because someone wears a hoodie doesn't mean they're a gangster. Just because somebody wears a do-rag, that doesn't mean anything. But they're programming the masses to think so. And guess what? Police also watch the news. They also watch TV. So now subconsciously, probably consciously too, if they're just some straight race soldiers, but subconsciously, yes, when they see the brothers on the corner, they could be doing anything. Oh, hoodies, do-rags, probably criminals. Let's go check them out. Because the propaganda has conditioned or programmed certain prejudices, right? When we have rallies or protests against police brutality and terrorism, they're called looting, riots, a bunch of thugs, animals, different codified words that they use to describe. That's propaganda. What they're doing is they're belittling, dehumanizing us. But at the same time, January 6th, all the white folks that literally looted and rioted in the state capitol, they didn't call it looting, they didn't call it rioting, they didn't call it none of that. That's propaganda. They're conditioning different responses for different people, different associations for different people. It's propaganda. You see a commercial for pizza. Little do you know, when they cut that pizza and they start taking that slice and it's all cheesy and dripping and stretchy, that ain't even really cheese. That's glue. But it looks good to your subconscious mind. It looks delicious. So it's a subconscious response that they're getting from you in order to further a particular cause. So anyway, that's it. I didn't want to make this long. I just wanted to it's something that was on my heart, just to kind of go into this propaganda. Just remember, propaganda works because it targets your subconscious, and no amount of wokeness will protect you from propaganda. Only not exposing yourself to propaganda will protect you from propaganda. Only real truth, real unadulterated media and information that's not intended to persuade you to a particular agenda, but just to give you the truth without the extra bullshit. That's how you get around propaganda. Anyway, Liberation Minded Media, Jay Dizzle. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.